What's going on, people? Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. Tottenham 4, Sheffield United 0. Just what the doctor ordered. I'm joined by Andrew. Andrew, how are you this evening, mate? You must be buzzing after that one.
I'm good, mate. I'm very good. How are you? All good?
Yeah. All good. All good. Much better when Spurs win.
Of
What did you make of the performance this evening?
Yeah, it was a good performance. A lot more kind of fluid through the channels. To be honest with you, that they didn't really cause a massive threat, if I'm being really honest. They didn't really push with any urgency. You can tell that they're already gone. But it was nice. I'd say I call it a lovely performance. It was nice to see us a little bit more on the attack, moving through the midfield a lot quicker, and obviously a change in the system as well, which helped because last week was diabolical.
No, yeah, I completely agree. I think as well, it's just, it was nice to see us be able to complete some passes and like do some of the bait. Like a lot. I mean, firstly, the majority of the season, and especially last week, we weren't able to put two passes together. And I'm not even exaggerating. It was genuinely worrying how poor some of the basics were. However, I thought that was much improved today. And look, you can only ever beat what's put in front of you. I thought the attitude was really good from the players. But like you said, they didn't cause us too many problems. But some players came in. Dele came in. What did you think of Dele's only his third league start of the season? What did you think of him this evening?
Look, you can tell he's not match fit. I don't want to kind of rip into him because he's not match fit. He's kind of, you need to give him a few games to kind of get up to speed. I think tonight was probably a perfect game for him. First off, he gave the ball away a few too many times for my liking, but he kind of grew into the game. He was a lot better in a forward position. I kind of preferred to see Lo Celso a little bit deeper. I thought he was quite good tonight, and that kind of freed up Dele a little bit. But you can tell he's not sharp. You can tell he's not really kind of have played all season. But I think with someone like Dele, he's got the talent and hopefully he can push on.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think a lot of the fan base is split over Dele. When it comes to this summer, there's some big decisions that need to be made with this squad of who stays and who goes. For you, does he stay, or would you cash in and try and get somebody, get a replacement?
I've had a lot of chats about Dele in kind of recent months, and to be honest with you, as two big decisions you need to make. The first one is about Harry Kane, and the second one relies on then Dele Alli. As we know, obviously our owners don't flood the our squad with loads of new players and put the money in. So if you're going to sell Harry Kane, or if Harry Kane's going to push to leave, obviously you can use that money to kind of get in a few more players. If Harry stays, which will be amazing, then I think they're going to have to try and free up some funds. I think Dele's going to be a good one to free up some funds. And you might get a little bit of cash for Dele, to be fair.
What do you reckon we could get for Dele?
I mean, look, let's be honest. He's still young. Okay, he's English. I would actually say around the 40 mark. That's my opinion. I think when you start to push kind of anything over that, I think you're pushing it a little bit. But everybody knows he's got the talent. Someone like Man United, or there's a few teams out there that would definitely buy him for 40. I mean, obviously Man United want Harry Kane, but there's a lot of teams that have been interested in Dele in the previous years, and they haven't really, quite got to him. So this could be a season that I would actually cash in on him, only because I just think we've moved on from the way he wants to play. He's quite a simple player. Don't get me wrong. I like the simple stuff that he does. But apart from, the nutmeg and that type of flair amount of football, I don't really see how he could push us a bit forward. I think we need somebody a little bit more tactical, a little bit more technical in that midfield, because there's a few attributes that he does very, very well, and there's a few that he doesn't do very well. And for me, I'd actually cash in on him, get the amount of money on him, and then spend it on new players.
I agree with you. I think if you can get a good fee for him this summer, I think now's the time to catch in. If you want to rebuild a squad, you've got to bite the bullet on some of these players and just accept that their time has come to move on. And if you do get a good price, you can replace him with some better players, some more technical players, some more tactical, tactically astute players. But look, we're also on players like Dele. Ndombele not included again today. A second game in a row where he hasn't featured at all. Obviously, he was dragged off after about an hour or so against Southampton. And we all love Ndombele. We all know the ability he's got. I don't think he's been great in recent weeks, but to not get any minutes at all, I think is harsh. What are your thoughts?
I have to be honest. I was a bit angry. He didn't even touch the floor in the cup final. I
Hmm.
personally don't understand how Ryan Mason, and I don't want to go in on Ryan Mason because he's not a manager. I can't take him seriously. I know a lot of Spurs fans can't take him seriously either. He's
Hmm.
not a manager, so therefore, you know, I'm quite surprised that Daniel Levy would put somebody in that position that doesn't really know the team correctly.
I'm not surprised.
Because if you're telling me, listen, I know he's a bit lazy. He is a bit lazy, and his performances have been on and off. And I said that to John a few weeks ago. But if you're telling me that he's not good enough to get into that team, and when we're starting the likes of Winks, who has been horrific, and to be fair to him, I'm talking about the cup final. I thought he was shocking. I thought Lo Celso was shocking, and he didn't even bring him on. So I'm surprised at the Ndombele thing because if we're looking technically, apart from Harry Kane, he's probably the best technical player that we have. So
Hmm.
then what's the excuse? Because I'm trying to figure out the reason why he's not touching, the pitch at least.
He's probably our most talented player, behind
Oh,
Kane and
without a
maybe
doubt.
Bale.
Yeah. I mean, look, Bao was exceptional tonight, but even Bao in his interview, I think it was after the Southampton game, it says, Ndombele, no, it wasn't the Southampton game, it was the game before that, and Ndombele had a great game, and he said, look, no one can get the ball off of him. And he said it back in training as well. And if you've got somebody who's that talented, if him being lazy is the reason why you drop him, that's not a good enough reason for me, especially in a cup final that you make massive decisions. In terms of not touching tonight, maybe he's saving him for the Leeds game. But look, a lot of people are kind of split on Ndombele. Me personally, I like him. I think he's a very talented guy, and I think he offers us a lot more going forward, pushing the ball forward. And I think that's what we lacked last week against Man City, if I'm being honest with you, because we were very, very good going sideways and backwards. There was no forward passes last week. And the last time we
Mm.
beat Man City 2-0, the man that was influential in both of those goals was Ndombele with the
Yeah.
two cut-through passes. So it didn't make any sense to me.
I hear that.
I kind of think that the guys kind of think the season's a little bit over anyway, if I'm being honest with you. Even though there's a small chance of the top four, I don't think anyone's kicking and fussing about Ndombele
But I
lost.
was going to ask you about that. Whether you think top four is achievable. Obviously, big outside chance. Well, it's achievable, of course. Whether
Yeah,
whether you think we'll get it. Obviously, look, Chelsea go to the Etihad next week, where we need them, the blue half of Manchester, to do us a favour. They've got to play Leicester.
yeah,
West Ham are still in with a shout, as are Liverpool.
yeah.
I think Everton, I think that they're sort of done after losing last night. But do you think, I said to Josh before, if we can take it to the final day, then why not? What do you think?
Look, the honest truth is, next week is not an easy game either. Leeds, even
No,
though
I agree with that as well.
we beat them 3-0 at home, but I'll be honest with you, I think it was 3-0, wasn't it? But
Yeah.
they're a very, very good side. And, the way that they kind of push and press at home it's going to cause us a few problems. If we can get past Leeds, I'm confident about Aston Villa and Wolves at home. I am confident about those two games. I think at home we've been okay lately. We've got the points lately. But if we can take it to that final game, I believe it's going to be Leicester that falls out. I don't think Chelsea are going to fall out.
Really?
I think Chelsea are going to go, personally. I know that Chelsea have got Arsenal and they've got Leicester as well.
City and Leicester, yeah.
Actually, if they got City and Leicester, it might change things. But for me, I'm seeing a bit of a downward spiral for Leicester. There is a possibility with Leicester's last three games of Chelsea away, Man United away, Tottenham at home, that could open up something. Now, if you're asking me in the percentage that I'm confident, I'm going to tell you 25 to 35% because I'm not confident at all. But there is a small chance, Slav. There really is. For me, if you get four wins out of four, I think the spot's there, personally.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just whether we.
Nothing else is good enough. It has to be 4 wins out of four.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think if we drop any points at all, it's done. And because and even if we get 4 wins out of 4, I don't even think that puts us in. We still need other teams to do us favors, other teams to drop points. It's the but I said this boy, Andrew, mate, it's the hope that kills you. I promise you.
It always is that kills us.
It's all, and look, how blatant would it be for all the other teams to drop points and then us to lose 1-0 at home to Wolves, for example? It would just be Tottenham all over. But in terms of tonight as well, but Gareth, I wanted to ask you about Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale, a fantastic hat trick tonight again. Sheffield United, not but what you can only play what's in front of you. And I thought he was really, really impressive tonight. Would you keep him because there's a clause? Would you trigger this clause for a second season on loan?
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Good,
It wouldn't
good
even be a
answer.
question for me. And the reason why I'd trigger it is because I don't believe we've got somebody with the talent at his feet the way that we have with Harry Kane and now Gareth Bale. If you're going to take somebody out of the team like that, you have to then replace him. For me, it would be an easy question because we see the talent he's got. Every time you put him on that left foot, not only his direct, but his feet is still brilliant. People were telling me before he was finished, but I think they need to look at his goals and they need to look at his feet. Of course, Sheffield United are backing off of him, but you can just tell what he's got. You can just tell the talent he's got. And I actually don't. I think with the way that Son is currently playing as well, I think he's actually outshining Son a little bit. And I think,
Yeah.
I think all the games at home that Gareth Bale, I think, scored in most of them, to be fair. And Son's not really looked that great. But I think that's because Gareth Bale's looked so good and he's looked so direct. And we're now looking at Sonny to say, well, you was that direct player. You need to kind of step into that a little bit more. But for me,
well, he did and scored a great fourth tonight. Sonny,
great goal tonight. We'll put it, posting in. Can't do anything better than that. Even though his performances have been off and on. We know that, but I think Sonny, he might be a little bit tired. He has played all season. I don't want to make excuses for him because a couple of games ago I wasn't happy with him and I came on and said that he needs to kind of fix up a little bit. But when you've got Son, Kane, and Bale up front, you need to take chances. In my opinion. And I think every time we've played the big teams, we haven't taken any chances. Against City last week, we didn't take no chances.
Didn't have any.
We didn't because we didn't create enough last week, and because we had Harry Winks and Højbjerg in that central position, and Lo Celso had a bad game. The subs were horrific. We bring on Sissoko instead of bringing on the players like Gareth Bale, which is unbelievable, really, when you think about it. But when you've got that talent, you've got to keep him for another year, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because if you don't keep him for another year, then you've got to buy a player because we need a wide right player. We said that for a while now. So, and I think Lucas's position now is more kind of number 10 based. I don't think he's a wide right player, even though he can play that role and he does it quite well. I think Gareth Bale is a perfect fit for our current team, even though he is getting on a little bit and maybe he's got some injury worries. But I think you can probably get him on a loan or even a free from Real Madrid.
Yeah,
and you can't really lose.
I think you don't really often have an opportunity to get players like of his quality.
I agree.
Whatever the wages are, whatever it is, if you're paying 40%, to have someone of what he's achieved with his ability and his talent, and it's about, look, he might be poor for 89 minutes, pick the ball up with a minute to go and bend it in from 25 yards. That's what he can do. That's the quality that he's got. You don't win these big trophies at Real Madrid. He was, for being an average player, he's different class on his day. And I think if we can have the opportunity to have him for a second year under an attacking manager, I think we'd reap the even more benefits than what we have this year. Because I think he's been harshly criticised at points this year. I think that was 9 Premier League goals tonight, plenty of assists in there, and some European and some domestic cup goals. So you can't complain too much with the return that you've got.
Yeah, with Gareth Bale, he has had a lot of criticism, but I think it's the reason, that he's had a lot of criticism because they still believe that he's the Gareth Bale of before, but he's not.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of evolves as players, and sometimes they slow down a little bit. Don't get me wrong; he's still got a lot of his pace, but Gareth Bale, what he can give us in terms of his experience, in terms of his winning trophies, big game player. People are forgetting he scored an overhead kick in the Champions League final 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was. You don't lose that talent. That's talent.
Yeah.
That's of course he works hard, and you need to kind of manage his injuries, but a player with that talent, you can't really let go if you have the chance to stick him for one more year. I personally think Real Madrid want to get him.
Absolutely. No, they do. I'm sure they do.
I think you can get him on a free. I really do. As long as you can kind of tame his wages a little bit and you can discuss that. I think Gareth Bale could be a great player for the next few years. And I think it could make Harry Kane look at the team a little bit more if the board are kind of backing everybody and saying, we're going to give him the money. We're going to keep Gareth Bale, and hopefully they can kind of build around those 3 up top because we're missing some people in the middle. But I think the big question is going to be that big question of Gareth Bale staying is going to be who the next manager is, in my opinion, and same with Kane.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, Andrew. Thank you very much for coming on.
No problem.
As always, like, comment, subscribe, and as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on.